Refugees protesting their detention on Nauru and lack of resettlement prospects as UN inspectors visited Australia's offshore processing facility in 2016. Moments later, Iranian refugee Omid Masumali sets himself on fire. He died 2 days later in a Brisbane hospital. Omid and his partner arrived in Australia by boat in 2013 and had spent 3 years in offshore processing. Today, Queensland Coroner Terry Ryan said there was insufficient evidence he planned to kill himself and that it was likely an impulsive act. He died a painful death in a Brisbane hospital after struggling to come to terms with the reality of an indefinite period on Nauru. In a statement, the Masumali family said, "Omid never had any psychological problems at home. The harsh immigration system led him to take desperate measures. Now all we have is the cold stone of his grave." The coroner also found the medical facilities on Nauru were vastly inferior to those anywhere in Australia. But undertrained and ill-equipped local doctors made heroic efforts to save Omid. He added medical services have since improved. In September, Australia signed a long-term deal with Nauru, making it the only offshore processing facility for boat arrivals after the PNG deal ends in December.
This was part of the policy. This was part of the cruelty. They didn't want people to think they were going to get anywhere, and this was going to stop the boats. But as we've seen, this is what started to break people.
While the coroner said the inquest was not an examination of Australian government policy, his only recommendation was that it provide more certainty refugees are settled in third countries expeditiously. This, he said, would not undermine Operation Sovereign Borders and likely see fewer medical transfers off Nauru on mental health grounds. Home Affairs Minister Karen Andrews has previously said an enduring regional processing capability in Nauru is a key pillar of Australia's strong border policies.
Omid's death should lead to significant reform of Australia's inhumane and cruel offshore immigration processing.
In handing down his findings, Coroner Terry Ryan said the federal government had not yet acted on his recommendations from a previous coronial inquest, that into the death of Iranian refugee Hamid Karzai from Manus. The coroner is due to open another inquest shortly, likely the last, into the 14 detainee deaths in offshore processing.